The Garden Report is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to a Garden Report. The Celtics back from their long layoff from the in-season tournament with a win, 120-113 over the Cavs. One I didn't think the Celtics were going to pull off, Josue, after that start. Awful first quarter. They're going down 25-10. They pulled back quickly, but Kristaps Porzingis scores only 2 points before halftime. Celtics find themselves in a hole, only 1 point at half, but nonetheless getting outplayed by the Cavs in the first 2 quarters. Bounce back encouragingly with another crunch time victory. Celtics now 8-4 in crunch time this year. It was a sore spot in the playoffs. They blew games going back years now in those situations. Stagnant offense. It's amazing now. This team looks almost seamless in that fourth quarter. And when you have a new starting lineup, when you have multiple new pieces as part of it, despite them being great additions, it's been surprising to watch just how effective and methodical they've been in the clutch.
Yeah, I mean, they're finding ways to come out with a win, which is something that Joe Mazzulla has been preaching since the beginning. The way they started this game, it didn't shock me in the sense that a lot of NBA teams do that when you have 4 days off, where you're sort of going through the motions.
They look so rusty.
It was as if they had just been playing too many scrimmages, and they reached a point where it's just like, all right, well, we'll just do what we've been doing the last 3 days. And obviously, they met a team that's been battling. They're coming off of some tough games, and they didn't have those 4 days off, and it showed in a big way. But the Celtics made adjustments, and I think that's what Joe Mazzulla has to be excited about, especially when it's Tatum and Brown leading those adjustments, right? The 3 seconds, 5 seconds into a possession, chucking up a shot. That was a lot of the first quarter, but you didn't see that before halftime. You saw Jason Tatum attacking. You saw Jason Tatum picking his spots, a couple passes, getting the ball back, getting to the free throw line, 9 for 9 for the free throw line. Like, that set the tone, in my opinion, going into the second half. And then from that point, it was just that constant pressure. Now, you got to credit the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. Like, Mitchell was on a tear. I was under the impression that he was gunning for 40, and I obviously wasn't the case, but that's a testament to the Celtics' defense and making those adjustments at the top of the key, where he was getting that shot off and leaving a little too much space for him to get that release. And he scored, what was it, 27 through 3 quarters. He only scores 2 in the fourth. The Celtics' defensive pressure never let up, and then all of a sudden, you're up by double digits because you're executing on offense and you get to the free throw line. That was huge.
Yeah, defense much better late. Here's Joe Mazzulla talking about the difference in crunch time this year.
You guys 8-4 in clutch finishes now. I know every game's different, but are there some common trends through those that you see in terms of the improvement over last year?
We had 4 clutch wins.
8-4.
8. I think getting to the free throw line is important, and I think being able to throw the ball into the post is important. And so when you get to our proper spacing and we can get free throws at the end of the fourth quarter, I think that's one thing that we haven't been able to generate is free throw opportunities. And so getting the ball into the paint, closer to the basket, trying to get fouled, making sure we play physical basketball, I think that helps with that. And then making sure we don't turn it over. And I don't know the number, but I feel like our defensive rebounding is better in those situations than it has been in the past. I know we lost to these guys 3 times last year, and 2 of them were on late-game offensive rebounds. And so I'll look at that, but I feel like that's been better.
FanDuel is the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
So I love the defense this year, and they put Porzingis on the perimeter, as you mentioned there, against those guards who were giving them trouble. And that slowed Cleveland, started missing some shots. That allowed the Celtics to get into their half-court offense. They go on a 9-0 run. 6 of those points came from Porzingis. 2 post entries to him that he drew fouls on, and then got fouled on a screen on the third possession that he was involved in. So 6 straight free throws on a 9-0 run. Brown finds Tatum for a 3. And as you mentioned, they have a double-digit lead there. It's just great offensive execution. They're not turning the ball over. Mazzulla is emphasizing offensive rebounding this year, which gives them extra chances in many of these situations. They did that well again tonight. Limiting transition, he emphasized tonight. And then, of course, you're always talking about the other marginal things like free throw totals, and they drew 26 of those tonight.
26 for 26. I mean, that's impressive, Bobby. Like, that shows discipline, and those are the signs of a championship team, a championship caliber team. And that's what this team is, and they continue to show those signs. And it'll be interesting to see how they respond, especially playing the same team, 2 days later, which is always a challenge for any team, but especially a team like the Celtics. But yeah, no question. I mean, look, the way they closed out that fourth quarter is huge, because you felt you could see the Cleveland Cavaliers were feeling that pressure and that they were making mistakes and that, they were really getting behind on themselves. And that, look, the Celtics, when Tatum and Brown are in point guard mode and finding guys, that's the result. When you see someone like Kristaps Porzingis score 21 points when he was nowhere near double digits at the half. He had 2 points at halftime. So that says a lot, if you ask me. And you know what? I even asked Joe Mazzulla about that. Like, what did you see from Porzingis that changed everything in that second half? And he pointed to Tatum and Brown. He said, hey, listen, these guys don't only score buckets in a big way, and if they wanted to, if there's another type of team, they could go off of 40. One of them could, or both of them could take turns and belittling the Cleveland Cavaliers, but that's not the type of team that the Celtics are. That's not their identity. There's just too much talent for them to move that way. So instead, you got the big guy going, and you saw where the mismatch was, and you explored that. And if you ask me, Porzingis was getting a bit frustrated. You credit Jared Allen and for a lot of the switches, the way they were really taking away that space from him, especially when he was positioning himself in the paint, trying to get the pass, the lob in. They made life very difficult for Porzingis, but Tatum and Brown really freed him up in the second half, and of course, freed themselves offensively as they went off.
Yeah, it's amazing. Even when they run into issues that they have as a team, Porzingis can have trouble going up against those burlier big guys.
Right.
They still find a way to win and win in spite of it. It's a tough team. Beat them 3 times last year. But with Porzingis, at this point, the dominant record with him in the lineup, the dominant results for the starting lineup, overall, are we looking at a situation, I asked this on the show, where if he's healthy, this team's going all the way, and if he's not, probably not going to be able to do it?
I think it's a big difference if you ask me. The team just looks different. The way their approach to their offense and
the crunch time too.
The crunch time, especially when you need to put together 2-3 stops to put a team away. They did that in a hurry. I didn't expect them to be up by 10 in the final minute. That's what it looked like, and that's how quickly it happened. So, yeah, I mean, it's still early. I don't know if I'm able to say 100% or at least anywhere near that, but I will say that this team is much different. They're much better with Porzingis in the lineup. And yeah, I mean, it worries me what the team looks like when he's not there. I called it life without Porzingis, and I thought it was going to be at least 2 weeks, but it fell just short of that. And we saw those struggles and those obstacles, and hopefully they learn from that. And hopefully we'll see that, continue to progress in their growth. Because if you ask me, someone like Jalen, I mean, we'll get into it in the next video, but the outside talk, the national media talk, whatever the case may be, he's flipped the switch in the last couple of games, you ask me. And this one was easily one of those where you're he did a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I think that carries over.
I'm excited to talk about him. Check out our next video where we hit on Jaylen Brown's big night. He and Tatum both had 25 in this one. Porzingis 21. The Celtics beat the Cavs. They're back here on Thursday against the Cavs again. Cavs going to get in practice tomorrow. Celtics taking the day off.
It's going to be a good matchup.
And we'll see Game 2, rematch between these teams. Josue Pavon, Bobby Manning, CLNS Media for all the post-game reactions, Celtics All Access for our next video on Jaylen Brown. And this has been the Garn Report. Celtics winners once again.
I've been looking for the best deal on Celtics tickets, and with over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. You can use my code DREAMERSPRO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code DREAMERSPRO. Make sure you check the link in the description to download the app.